In the underground chamber beneath Magnolia's end plantation, the ritual had already failed. Shattered masks, splintered medallions, and bloodstained knives lay across the floor like the remains of a storm. Torchlight trembled along stone walls marked with veves and crescent moons, while the faint moonlight from the skylight gave the wreckage a cold, silvery edge. Julien Dubois stood near the broken altar, bruised and breathing hard, his scar burning beneath Madame Zora's pulsing talisman. He had survived what 9 others did not, and that fact weighed on him almost as heavily as guilt. Beside him, Celeste Moreau gripped her camera and ledger with shaking hands, her auburn hair loose and tangled, her expression sharpened by shock and determination. A few feet away, Vincent Devereaux leaned against the wall, blood seeping from a knife wound at his side, his face warped by pain and defiance. Madame Zora Laveau stepped forward with the authority of someone who had faced darkness before and did not intend to yield to it now. Her silver hair was loose beneath a crimson tignon, and her serpent skull staff glowed with a power that seemed to answer the chamber itself. Her voice rose in a Creole chant that made the air feel charged. "You defiled the spirits," she said to Devereaux. "This altar, this blood, it ends here." She struck the ruined altar with her staff. Wood splintered. Wind tore through the chamber. Herbs from her gris-gris bag burst into sparks that danced and faded in the air. On the walls, the glowing symbols weakened, then went dark one by one. The weight in the room shifted as if some invisible force had been cut loose and left to collapse in on itself. Devereaux suddenly surged upright, driven by panic and fanatic rage. His hand closed around a fallen crescent knife, and with a shout he lunged at Zora. Julien moved before fear could stop him. He threw himself into Devereaux, driving him off course and slamming him to the ground. The 2 men struggled in the dust and broken glass, and the knife flashed between them. Devereaux managed to cut along Julien's arm, but Julien held on, pinning the killer's wrist with grim resolve. "For Amélie," Julien said through clenched teeth. Then he turned Devereaux's own blade against him and drove it deeper into the wound already opening at the man's side. Devereaux gasped once, his expression frozen between fury and disbelief, and then the fight left him. His body went still, and the chamber seemed to exhale with him. Celeste, steady now in a way she had not been before the fighting began, raised her camera and captured every detail. The ledger was safe in her bag. Every name, every payment, every hidden link in the order's chain had been exposed to the light. "It is over," she said quietly. Zora lowered her staff. Weariness settled across her face, but her eyes remained clear. "The spirits are satisfied," she said. "But shadows do not vanish forever. Take your proof. And guard what you have won." Julien picked up Amélie's journal, the last pages carrying her warning like a prophecy fulfilled. The moon must fall. He felt the ache in his scar ease into something else, something closer to peace than he had known in years. He nodded toward Celeste. "The ledger, the photos, all of it will bury them." Together they climbed the spiral staircase and returned to the fog outside. Dawn was beginning to break over the plantation, and the crescent moon above them was already fading into daylight. The Mississippi moved in the distance with a low, steady murmur, as if the world itself were trying to wash the chamber clean. The ritual was destroyed. The leader of the order was dead. The evidence was in hand. Yet as Julien, Celeste, and Zora stood together in the first light of morning, all 3 understood the same thing. The battle had ended, but the darkness that made it possible might only be waiting for another mask.